paging, I mean,
Trying.
if down 8 pages, I can tell.
Yeah.
She was
Oh,
wondering if you
excuse me.
could put a media,
We're used to it.
Smile.
audio something. What was it? I can't remember.
I put it over here,
Okay,
just
yeah.
so you guys are aware. It's over here.
Gotcha. Just audio.
Oh.
Just audio.
Okay? You don't have it. Those are the holidays.
Cost too many.
Okay. So,
Stingy.
I know. I did it. What was it? Wait, wait, and this is very retail. So I kinda went by what the retail people do.
Mhm.
So, thank you, sir, because, you know. I feel like I'm being taken advantage of. 'Cause I'm. So you do have a new invoice to be paid because of course between Friday and today I got all sorts. So I wrote it on the new agenda how much it is. But I've gotten things from Envirop and Unibars.
Did you want that?
Kind of like.
These are all the new invoices we paid.
Yeah. So I gave you guys a new one. It's longer.
Where's those?
I gave you this
Yep.
table to-
I'll take it.
Thank you. Yeah, that should do it for now.
Okay. I'll get that too.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, due for that, for sure. I thought you meant for other things.
Okay.
Come on.
No, thank you.
Did you guys ask for that?
I did, she was bugging me,
Oh, okay,
so I gave her something to do.
okay. So I'll just take it then.
We'll look at it, I mean, it's
Yeah,
something that-
yeah, it's something to have on hand. That's okay. I was just, when I
Kept her
saw
busy, too.
it, I bet it did. 2, 3 days. Just when I saw it, I was like,
that's what you gotta do every time you come around. Give her something.
something to check, something to check. And just like,
Yep.
You have the time.
I do.
Hang on to it. You can.
Read it up. Okay. Yes, I do. So, this is what it looks like. That's directly from PennDOT.
So it's just the time.
Yeah. 30% done, 60% done, 90% done. So. And PennDOT sent all of that to me, so.
Okay.
And Mars is the one that's been working on this one. Larson. So they have
And
a
that also includes the three.
specific PennDOT engineer who works on streetlights and things like that, so.
The big thing is getting the grant.
You gotta get hold of PennDOT too. We got, did you hear the new regulations? I got till October of 24 to verify every pipe in town. Every water line in town, every houses,
Water loaded.
service line.
For what? Good luck on that one.
And that's not
I
true.
think that's the best quote we can get on it. So I think.
No, no,
Now you gotta hit
because
340.
Blair Supply up in Corning, whatever area has got all this. I don't know what else you got.
Do you have? I know you had to double check.
Oh, that's okay. Sounds like it's a, or not.
I called Candy Fire Hydrant in Elmira, and they told me that we'd have to go somewhere like LB1.
That one that was engineered, like, so we can use it all to say that it was.
It has to do with the police cars and the,
Let's get it put in plastic.
they come and
Change
they
the laterals, right?
I don't
calibrate
know, so
the
we gotta check, but. the
Speed
thing is-
control.
speed
Vast.
control,
We can
yeah,
tell
so,
when it
but I
needs-
It used to be a VASCAR, this is a different setup. They all gotta be calibrated at a certain interval.
And I asked Ray, I sent it to Ray, but he didn't respond, so you guys have to tell me what.
And that was done.
That would, that would
What's the
narrow
difference
down.
between this, I thought they still
We
had
tell
that.
you, these three connections are galvanized, and those are the only ones.
Just
you
time
Is that what they have now?
I think-
I think so,
don't know.
times you between two lines.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
I think YCG is the group that calibrates it, yeah.
Once you get to the house, it's
I don't have to verify the need.
yeah, that's what it is.
There's the.
So there's this-
Use that instead.
Not the two items to them, or they just one.
It's just a booster.
Say what?
What is this?
That's the fire hydrant.
And all.
Is that for two or one?
I don't think this is one fire
So
hydrant.
that use net is connected to galvanized.
We really can't do anything with that, that's right.
But if it's a lead use net,
Ray hasn't gotten back to me,
What are
so,
we gonna do? This calibration?
yeah.
It's just up to calibration? Oh, it's like, I don't know. That's what we're talking
Yeah.
about.
So we just take one.
It must be a contract, or what?
That's
So
what,
they renew the contract.
right, whether or not you're,
what's it?
it's a year-to-year thing. If you want your equipment calibrated, I think you have to do it. This doesn't say if this is for new hydrants, but it looks like it's for parks.
All right, let's call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good. First thing we have is the minutes of the previous meeting. Any additions, deletions? Anybody see anything wrong?
I make a motion we accept the minutes.
Motion by Mike,
So,
second by Mark.
which minutes?
Both special and regular.
Yep. All's combined.
Okay, just asking.
Okay, all in favor?
Alright.
Opposed? Carried. Financial statements. Do we see any issues with it? I think we corrected those. Well, that was invoices.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion we accept as presented.
Motion by John,
I'll second it.
second by Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Invoices to be paid. Invoices are $76,908.69.
Got a question on, Joe, Borough Chambersburg.
That's who we bought our nitrogen credits from.
How about the bill submitted by Crowley? Looks like
Josh told me that I had to keep paying water and sewer both for his license. I ask every month.
it's like 2 payments, or water and sewer a month, there's 4 payments listed.
Because we did not get billed for October. And when he asked me why I hadn't been paid, I told him I never got an invoice.
So Josh, what's the reason they want paid for both?
I've talked to him, and it's cheaper to have both. His rates change if you only want one of his licenses.
So it gets more expensive than both? A racket.
They call that blackmail, don't they?
It's a racket. Alright. Any other questions?
Well, it can't go on forever, so the council's gonna have to deal with it soon.
I think we're gonna have to talk to them.
So,
That's,
I mean, this is crazy.
I mean, I can get another license holder. All I need is sewer.
why don't we check into that, Josh?
I can do that.
Make a motion to pay the bill.
Okay, motion by Haas,
Second.
second by John, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Can you have something for us before next meeting?
Absolutely.
How you feeling, by the way?
Good.
Alright, municipal reports. So I saw sewer and water. Saw the police report, do we have a DPW?
I don't know if I have a zoning
Oh yeah,
report.
we got a DPW, and we have a zoning.
Mhm.
And I don't see Mark here for the fire department and the authority.
I believe they're at a fire.
Yeah, I think they're at a fire.
I know they're at a fire.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, I saw somebody.
Okay, for old business, we got the erosion on North Buffalo, and that's what Mandy's working with Larson Design on that. We're looking for grants, so it's still eroding. Survey of borough properties, the only one we're really interested in right now is the one, what's the name of the road, Mike?
Browntown.
Browntown. They come over to do Browntown to set the line for us, and they couldn't find a pin. So, and there was some more, there's a problem because apparently one of the buildings is on our property. So, Bob's gonna do it himself. He thought he would have it done for this meeting, but, Bob Cunningham, by the way. I don't know why he didn't get back with me, but he maybe ran into another problem down there. So there's, I guess it's a lot shorter than we even thought. He's on us a lot more than we thought. So, should definitely have something next month on that. Money market, why are we discussing that? Are we, 'cause we're not moving anything, right?
No, we need to table that until we see what's going on there.
Yeah, the money market will table that because we need to know how much we're gonna spend next year before we move anything into CDs, so we don't wanna tie it up. The meat processing plant, that's status quo, we're still going through with that.
He has been served.
He has been served now? Oh, I didn't
I
know
got
that.
notice of that,
Good.
just this week.
Good.
Yeah, so he has 20 days to do something.
What is it called?
No.
Okay, the first thing in new business is to adopt the 2023 budget. Everybody's had a chance to review. Are we still balanced? So,
As far as I know.
Shouldn't have changed.
okay. And that was with a 0.25% tax increase.
Look, just a hair over that.
0.497.
Yeah.
0.4.
0.497. So it sounds better a quarter than it does close to a half.
Do you need a motion?
Yeah.
Yeah. Brings it up to 7 mils. 7 mils is the tax rate, not millage.
I make a motion, we adopt that.
Motion by Mike, seconded by Mark. And we'll do a roll call.
John,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Rick.
Yes. And now it's, we have to adopt the tax increase.
Yeah, I make a motion, we adopt that.
So it's resolution 2022-03. And what this does is it sends the actual millage to the county. So I need a motion to adopt 2022-03.
I make a motion, we adopt tax resolution 2203.
Motion by Mike,
Second.
seconded by Mark. Again, roll
Yep.
call.
John,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Rick.
Yes.
Does the mayor have to approve that, Joe?
He does have to sign it. So I will get a hold of him and tell him that it's here for him to sign.
Okay, well, for the time limits, you got
Yes.
10 days.
And we need a motion for Wells to look for sealed bids for slip lining. And in order to get our moratorium off, for people who don't know, we've had a moratorium in that town for years where we can't add anybody to the sewer. Our one big problem is we're processing a lot more gallons than we're using. And it's all coming from leaks in our system. We're getting, we had a little storm here, a month ago, Josh? And how many more gallons did you have to do?
500,000 a day.
So, the slip lining is a liner that they put in our existing system, a lot cheaper than replacing, you don't have to dig, they go through the manholes. But it's expensive, not as expensive as digging it up. And this is just to allow them to go out and get some bids, so.
Make a motion, we'll have Bella solicit bids.
Motion by Mike,
for slip lining.
I'll second.
second by John. Favor,
Aye.
Aye.
opposed, carried.
Is there a cost related to that, or is that part of that other dollar amount that we discussed?
We're trying to determine the cost.
Yeah.
The cost of advertising?
You mean the engineering cost?
Is that part of that other dollar amount we talked?
I think so.
Well, that's gonna be part of the grant application, so
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll put together a separate proposal for you.
thank you.
Yeah, 'cause we're trying to get a grant to do that also, not
Yep.
just out of pocket.
Okay, and we need to appoint an authority member. They're a person short because of Jack Kenyon's resignation, or retirement, whatever it is. And we have a person interested, he's not here tonight. His name is Patrick Buckley. You remember him from the big guy?
I remember the individual. I
He's the
don't-
only one
I
that
don't
showed
know.
interest. So if somebody would like to make a motion to appoint him to the authority, he's actually an engineer too, right? Isn't that what he told us?
I think so.
Yeah.
Mechanical engineer, I wanna say.
Yeah.
And for how long, that's the motion, we'll need to say for how long his seat will be.
How long is that?
Most of them are 5 years.
Yeah, I thought we just put everybody up for 5. I make a
Yeah, but they're
motion
just
for-
staggered in.
They're staggered, It's just like you
Everybody's
guys
5
are.
years, but there's
Yeah.
staggered, run-out time is staggered.
Yeah, so if you appoint him for 5 years, we've got some people coming up next year, so. if
Are you
want-
coming up next year?
He is, Larry is, I don't remember about Mike, I'd have to look.
I think he's 2 more years.
Okay, so motion by Kyle,
Hey, if he's willing to.
seconded by Mark, that's right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Oh, you have to appoint county tax collection representative. I'm told that this is in case, they have meetings once or twice a year.
Yeah, do you want me to read what this says?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright, it says, Act 32 requires the governing bodies of the school districts, townships, boroughs, and cities that impose an earned income tax, which we do, to appoint one voting delegate and one or more alternate delegates to their tax collection committee representatives. The purpose of this resolution is to appoint the required delegates. So it's because Elkland charges an earned income tax. So I just need someone that's gonna, I get the invite to the meetings and then I send them out and I only ever get one a year.
So I just need to appoint those.
Yes.
I'm gonna appoint Wendy Graham as the number 1. You just put me down for number 2.
Does it have to be a board member?
What's that?
Does it have to be one of you?
I
think so.
don't know.
Because.
I didn't know anything about it till
Yeah.
tonight, so.
Well, I'm just curious because I know Wendy's awfully busy, so
I know.
I would volunteer for it
Yeah.
if
But
I was permitted to.
I think that the reason is, it has to be a board member is because they are the governing body that decides to impose
levy
the
the
deal
tax.
with the-
I
tax.
did Wendy
Okay.
because she
That's-
likes to
that's-
go
I
places and
figured I'd
talk.
ask.
Yeah, so,
So
I don't,
if she doesn't go, I'll go. Nobody's ever gone, I don't think.
No, not that I'm
You
aware
never go,
of.
Holly?
When I was in the school district, I did.
Did you? You never went when you're on council?
No, I went as a representative from the school district.
Okay.
And at that time, it was always the council or township person.
And 2023 council meeting schedule, you have that all down nicely?
I do, it's every,
Yeah, just the second
Right.
Wednesday every month?
Yeah. so I just need to know if that fits with everybody so that I can advertise it.
There
Yeah, I can motion
Works well.
advertise,
Or take up the apple cart.
right.
Make a motion to advertise the
Motion by Kyle.
2023
Second.
meetings.
Second by John, all in favor? Opposed, carried.
Still at 6:30, I didn't hear.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So we have a timeline review for the Green Light Go program. How much does Pennsylvania give you?
I know. So the,
It's all subject to be changed because it's Pennsylvania. But they have it broke down into what, 30, 60, and 90, and then must be 100.
it is, there's 100 on the back,
So
yeah. And it's all of the timing and the dates that you have to hit with your design plans and things like that. And they estimate completion in 2024.
is there a way, like for next meeting, you could like put just a sheet together with bullet
Yep.
points on it, just simple, not complicated.
Okay,
You know, just so
Yeah.
the community kinda knows when.
so,
Time frame.
I haven't heard anybody, nobody's asked me about new red light, but anyway.
and because we're getting money, I need a motion to sign the agreement and resolution stating who's gonna be the authorized signer.
Oh, I thought we didn't do that.
No, that was on something else.
Council president gets to sign all.
Yeah, and I have that, but we still have to, we have to go through
The motion.
the motions to keep them happy.
I'll make a motion that we sign that. We have a motion to make Rick the thing too.
Motion by Mike,
A second.
seconded by Kyle. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And that was for both,
Yeah,
to sign it and to make him a
You're
signer.
right, I'll make a
Okay.
motion to make him the signee.
A separate motion.
Yeah.
A motion by Mike, second by Mark. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. So anybody that's ever been in this room a lot knows the heating can be one way or another in here. We've had a lot of issues. They had Wilkinson in to look at it. He says he tried to fix and it didn't work. It was zone valve, right? Didn't he do something with the zone valve?
Yeah, there's some valves and then the temperature.
Yeah.
The thermostats are bad.
So, he says the heating registers need replaced. Did he give any kind of,
I didn't get an estimate,
I don't know anything.
so that was mostly factual for you, and then
Okay.
you guys can
Yeah,
decide if
'cause
you
we
wanna
can't
go
really-
up.
Let's get an estimate.
Yeah.
Right, go out and get estimates, okay.
the next one, we have a quote on, for Melby Water on a new hydrant. It's the one that was stolen. Good, and they never, you know, you'd think that would show up someplace.
On the bottom of the finesse.
Maybe,
So $1,318.25. Oh,
Might wanna double that. Get to.
oh, one first.
We don't have any right now?
Well, wouldn't that our problem?
And the lead,
I come up with this and we didn't have any.
lead time's 20 weeks.
Oh, wow. Well, I make a motion to purchase two of those. So we have one for the shelf and one to replace the one that got stolen.
I'll make it 26, 36, 50.
Good math, bud.
Okay, motion by Mike,
Second it.
second by Mark. Oh, yeah, do a roll call.
John,
Yes.
Mark,
Yep.
Kyle,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Rick.
Yes. So the next thing, there's been some confusion over part-time employees and what holidays they get off. Some people think they should get off everything the union does, and that's a negotiated thing with union employees. So Jill has come up with a holiday, unpaid holiday schedule for part-time employees. And it's New Year's Day, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving Day, and Christmas Day. So what's everybody think about that? That way there'll be no confusion.
Yeah, that's good.
Have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion we make
That's
those
7 holidays.
non-union employees will follow that holiday schedule.
Motion by Mike,
I'll second that.
second by John. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
How many people does that affect?
3,
No,
4.
four, and
You,
Mandy,
Mandy.
Mandy's twice, so. but
Oh,
and
that's
and
really
Shannon.
3 people.
Well, and Shannon,
Oh, yeah.
so 4 and 5 positions.
Okay.
With one person.
4 people though, because of
Yes.
her, okay.
Yeah, 4 people. Yep.
The next thing has to do, it's the next 2 things, have to do with the abandonment, down at Metamora, whatever it is now.
Wesley.
Something different next.
Wesley.
I'm not gonna learn it.
I know.
It changes.
And they'll change it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, people who don't know, we're gonna abandon that property. They've agreed to fix the sluice, take over the property, we don't have anything in there. There's questions about the hydrant, getting to, and I can't see a right of way to the hydrant. Because if their building's on fire, they're gonna let us, they're gonna let the fire company at the hydrant. If there's a repair done, I mean, it's our hydrant, we'll repair it. I mean,
I don't believe they can keep the fire department from the hydrant access.
No, I know, and I don't think they're gonna block us from going in and fixing it. So Chris Lance was a little worried about legalities but. What do you think, Mike?
Worst case, it becomes their hydrant unless they're working.
That's true. Tie a big ribbon on that.
Merry Christmas.
That's
Yep. So I make a motion we adopt that.
Motion by Mike,
Banner ordinance.
second by Kyle. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Is this the roadway,
Yeah, going into Metamora.
like,
So they've
Once-
got the road, from the road to their gate is gonna
to
be all.
From Ellison to there.
Yeah,
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Center of the creek, actually,
Yeah.
center of the creek.
Creek. Yeah.
to the Ellison Road. So the borough already abandoned from Center of the Creek.
Oh, that's right, what, center of the creek, I was thinking gate.
Right,
So,
which is basically Center.
so do they take possession of that?
So the road,
Yeah, I mean, if we abandon it, who takes possession?
it's their responsibility.
It'll just be their they have to get to their factory, so it's gonna be their responsibility. In fact, have they redoing the sluice yet?
No, that's what they, that's,
Yeah.
this is.
As soon as we get this done, they're gonna redo that sluice in there and make it a lot better.
They won't do anything until we do this, cause they're not putting money into something that's
And
not.
it was
They,
a,
so they want to own it.
Yes.
Yes.
That's why I
yeah,
want.
we went down and met with them, had a good meeting with him, and they're more than willing to.
He said it's easier to secure funds if they own it versus us owning it, they're putting money into something that's not theirs. Makes perfect sense. We don't do nothing with it really anyhow. You can't go through the gates are shut. It's not a public road.
And we don't access anything through it, so.
It used to be a public road, but not anymore, so.
YCG calibration.
Now we need to,
Oh, yeah, Lance needs to advertise it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we need to,
Motion for him to advertise that.
Yeah.
he needs to advertise that we're abandoning that road, I guess you have to let the public know, Mark.
I'll second that, yep. Sure do.
Seconded by John. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. The next thing has to do with the calibration of the VASCAR system. And it has to be calibrated. Ray's not here, Ray had to go he had to go to Wellsboro or something.
I don't know. It's, I
And-
think it's
Yeah. it's still pretty
quarterly,
good. Yeah,
I think it's quarterly,
just they're renewing their contract.
right?
I make a motion to renew their contract.
Motion by Mike, second by John, I saw that.
What's the cost? We have a cost on that?
I don't have it in hand.
There's no cost to enter the contract, it's a cost to do the
Actual calibration?
actual calibration.
And they're the ones that's been doing it?
Yeah.
Do you know how many years they've done it?
A long time.
Multiple years.
That's just to keep them on as a retainer,
Right,
basically?
yes, that's what it is to retain them.
Do the cal- no.
So our tickets,
I'll
speed
still-
tickets.
All in favor?
Uh,
Opposed? Carried. the borough hasn't been real happy with the auditors that we've been using. I don't think they're doing their due diligence when they come in. So we've been looking at some other companies to come in and do the auditing.
Yeah.
And you have the name of that?
Yes, I do. Her name is,
Mark, is that something we have to get quotes for? Is it if we change auditors or we just hire an auditor?
You can just hire her, yeah.
yeah,
The reason that they were in there now is they were hired when Lisa quit. She quit doing audits, supposedly, that's when they hired Thompson, Williams, whatever.
Yeah, they're considered a professional service, so you can.
right,
And the reason we're looking, so everybody knows, is they made quite a few mistakes on this last audit that were, to say the least, not good. So we just need to,
I think for the cost and how long they were in here,
Yeah,
they did a
it's-
pretty poor job.
it needs to be better than what they're doing for the, so we need to look around and explore some options.
So we're gonna do that, or,
Yeah. Yeah, I think we need to let them go and we'll try out, who's that, Joe?
it's with Guthrie and Company, working directly with the partner. Her name is PV Sri Lakshmi. She's very Indian, but everyone calls her Sri, which is SRI.
And they used to do it in the past, correct?
They have done Elkland in the past, yes. They have.
So they
and
can,
who recommended?
I've worked with them very closely and I like them very much.
and I talked to Lance about it too, and Chris Lance, our attorney, said he said they're a good company. Cause I explained to him what was going on, and he said, absolutely, he said, get them out and get somebody else in. I mentioned him, he said, yeah, he said, I would suggest them. So, I make a motion, we oust J.K. Williams, or J.H. Williams, and, hire Guthrie Corporation,
Is that good or bad?
company, whatever it is.
Motion by Mike,
She got me through 2 audits in the state.
I'll second that.
second by John.
What's the cost?
They're gonna be, she said it between, so J.H. Williams' last bill was like 17,000.
They were getting like 17.
She said it's gonna be between 16 and 18, cause it's new, she's gotta come in and basically redo everything that they messed up.
Then she said it'd be cheaper, right?
Then it should go down considerably. Time will tell if that really happened or not, but right around the same.
But it didn't sound like it was gonna be any more for them to come in and set everything all up for their business, so.
Right. So she said after the initial one, she should be less.
Mhm. I'm just looking for a seal into what you're spending.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's the conversation we had with them, is we didn't wanna be more.
Yeah, we don't wanna spend any more than what we're spending now, so.
And they said that they would definitely go down.
We need a vote?
Yeah, do you want me to roll call or?
Yeah, go ahead and roll call.
John?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Kyle?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Yes.
Is Guthrie and Company local?
Yes.
They're Mansfield.
When will that be effective, the first year?
Yes.
And the next bullet is, Sully Oil and Gas and Mineral Rights. It doesn't mean that, it doesn't mean we're selling them, it means we've been approached by a company, a local company, to sell our mineral rights. We've had a lot of discussion over it here right now they're leased. And they've been leased for quite a while. The information we're getting right now, which we're gonna get into more, was, for some reason, it was leased for 10 years. I don't know anybody that did that after the early 2000s. But they said the last time it was leased, it was 10 years. But we're gonna get into that, we're gonna pull that. But we're talking because we need so much slip lining to maybe look into even lease again, or, of course, we couldn't release them right now because if they're already leased, but we need to know. I guess they were all done at different times and then somebody come in and bought out the leases. So Jill's been hunting through boxes today and having them all. So we may have to have somebody pull that stuff at the courthouse. Or if we put it out for bid, we can have the other companies will do it for us. That's what they do it every day, you know, they got people over there in that courthouse every day doing it, so. So it's whether we want to, do we want to look into that? It would certainly help with slip lining. The offer we got to buy was 200 and some odd thousand.
What was the company's name?
What's his name?
It's, Appalachian
Appalachian.
Clean Energy.
You know them, right? But we can't just, of course, we can't just sell it to them. We could look around, and then we don't have to buy it. In the end, we don't have to sell them anyway.
Would that affect your ability to do stuff on the lands and
That's
stuff
what
like
you have
that?
to prevent in your lease.
Yeah, no,
Anything on the surface, you gotta, and that's one thing Chris Lance brought up when Mike talked to him, is you gotta make sure that it doesn't affect the surface. So,
But what if you need to like go under the surface though? I don't know what land you're talking, in town.
actually, what he gave us a bid on was every single piece of property we own in town. Which is little places they couldn't do absolutely anything with. The only big lots we have are the Rod and Gun Club, which I'm not sure why they want it, because that's pretty close to New York, and most people aren't drilling anywhere near New York State. And the other one is the sewer plant. Behind the sewer plant, is that separate from the golf? Josh,
What's that?
is that piece of woods there behind the sewer plant? Is that, or you know too, probably?
I have no idea.
Is that separate from the Rod and Gun Club?
Oh, you're talking the side hill?
Yeah,
The side hill, I think it is. I think it splits out back by the.
that's like 60 acres, right?
Goes all the way to the Verizon tower.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah,
there's
so each
like
one-
nothing on that,
Well,
like,
yeah, you have
other
to.
than trees.
It is very, very steep out there, so there wouldn't be any. But they're willing to pay for every acre that we have.
Okay.
So it's just something we're looking into. I mean, we're looking for a way. The kitty was pretty drained. We've cut back a lot in costs. I mean, the pool cut back a lot of costs. We've reduced some employees. We've done. And
Did the pool ever get drained? Cause the last time I was up there a couple months ago,
the
there was
drain
still
doesn't
water.
work in the pool.
Okay.
And unless you want to send somebody up and suck it out every time it rains or every time it snows, the pool's shot in. I mean, it's absolutely horrendous.
I need to know if we don't have a motion to advertise or not.
Yeah, yeah, we need to make a motion
So-
to
There's
advertise.
a-
Does everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
Do
And it's
you
kind
want
of
any more
by the
discussion
side
on
of the
that? Just
sidewalk
get an
that goes up to
advertisement
it.
out there and find out if anybody's interested.
First
I
investigate.
think it is too.
So you pretty much get it right.
Motion.
Make a motion that we investigate the possibility of leasing or selling mineral rights or whatever it might be.
How about you second?
I'll second.
Second by Kyle. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
What was that motion for? I'm sorry.
To look into leasing or selling
Oh,
the,
just.
yeah.
And I think they've been leased. How long they've been leased? Mark, they were leased back when you were on
Yeah,
the
Shell
board.
leased. They released
Yeah.
Shell sold them out. I don't know who has the leases now.
Seneca Resources, I believe.
Seneca,
I
yeah,
think.
Shell.
And we had one application for a police officer. Somebody you probably know, Chris Brackman. What's that? So we're gonna go ahead and talk, and then we'll be back out. Just gonna have an executive session for a few minutes, and we'll be back.
And that would put us up to 3 police officers?
No, bump left.
Oh,
They've been gone since.
Last
17th.
last meeting we accepted
Yeah.
the service.
Yeah.
see, I think I missed like last month's
I think you
meeting,
did
so.
We can't.
I'm so excited I don't have to pick my stuff up and wait outside. Thank you. Oh my gosh. I was just, no, I was just, he said executive session, if you don't pack my stuff up, make this, they throw me out.
You know that?
Oh, yeah, I read that in Lawrenceville, yeah.
I didn't, because I'm not home. Well, it's like, if it's gonna start at 4 AM and be icy,
And I start,
I got a lot of sick days. I feel ill.
They
that they called it, so,
That's cool.
For the
and,
full day, it's not-
and probably
Yeah.
Friday
And
too.
we get to stay.
Did they call school already?
He's got a message, I don't have mine.
People are
Oh, you know what? That's probably the call I hung up on.
that they're concerned.
Oh, maybe, yeah, cause they
I
call,
have a smartwatch, so and it
Yeah.
started ringing at 814. So
yeah,
that's probably what it is.
well, I think it's a smart thing to do.
Well, yeah, because if the weather's gonna be,
Well, it
we don't
said
want the
4
kids out
AM,
running.
see, I thought it was like 11 AM, so I figured we'd get part of it.
I'm just glad it didn't start today because I had to drive to Scranton and back today.
Oh,
I actually got back just in time to pick up the gallon out, drop it off at the house so they can make dinner and then
and come here. And they're gonna make dinner, so when you go home, you can eat.
They better because I was on the road for 5 hours. Mama doesn't want to cook.
Yeah,
I had cheating meals for a reason, you know, like
Yeah.
Velveeta skillets and hamburger helper.
Yeah.
Those are for when mommy doesn't want to cook.
yeah, but you still get to eat, right?
Before
Kids?
I felt and I was on the council.
Honestly, I'm not that hungry though, surprisingly. So
I'm not hungry right now either.
Question, I'm like, yeah, we did.
I just want to put my feet up and relax and just like zone out because I've been work all day long.
Well, and when you're driving, you have to watch for everybody. Fortunately, it was dry.
Consider, I didn't know I was interested in that. Until I started seeing what was going
Comes all
on.
the way out and then.
She's seen it, she's been there when we got thrown out in the cold.
Well, they just hope you get frustrated and go home.
Yes,
For
yes.
cold. Why
But.
Well, you can sit in your car and run your car if you want to, but
don't they just go into another room like they do here?
they can't because they rent the space.
They don't, it's been donated.
It has been donated. After the first year, they will be renting the space.
No.
But there's no other place to go, so we have to leave.
Yeah.
And it's fine when it's June and July, but when it's like raining,
Yeah, there's no.
They don't have a building like this?
It's a double wide.
they,
Don't have it.
no, they used to go to the fire hall and the fire hall had a major fire.
Well, yeah.
So they couldn't meet there, so they went to Herb's inspection building.
But they don't have their own borough then?
Yeah, but it's a double wide and there's not enough room for the group.
Well, we
It
have
still can come down.
some like weather sucks about this. I'd say about 10 people
That line's
when
still
the
in.
news
This set of
comes.
belts is still in out here. Oh, it's still coming. The only one that comes off is the one that comes in. Past
It's
this.
too tight. It's tight.
And they're talking about revamping it though so that they can meet there.
We had to, if we had too many people, we were overloaded. When Borough had that thing with the police.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a code problem and everything.
But it was nice and they could go outside and meet.
Yeah, they did it along the road, they opened a lot of chairs and stuff, and everybody helped participate. It was the only place where you see people fight.
We had a good argument here a few months back. One lady in the cat ordinance. That was interesting.
Yeah, but it was them together that were the problem. The rest of the world wasn't fighting them.
The one lady, I don't think, she was a little more laid back. She's like, I really don't want to deal with the courts and stuff. And she was trying to explain their point of view. The other lady was just like, I will sue you.
Yeah,
And
but
I'm just like, wow, we escalated quickly there. This is supposed to be a discussion, civil.
And it's hard to articulate. Like, I don't know all about the school of honor, you know, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that. I don't have any children in school. I do have a right to an opinion, but I can't. I don't have anybody to ask every day what it's going in school, how's things going. And when you call me, I list off 10 emotional things. What it boils down to is you don't want school teaching your kid racism, or you don't want school introducing a child into someone else's lifestyle. What kind of sex someone is having, is that innocent? Not their teacher, they shouldn't be worried about what sex their teacher is having. What sex their students are having, it should be kids, let them be. None of that stuff should matter. Those are the two opinions I have, and they should teach it, this age much earlier, because parents are just kind of letting them learn trial by fire.
You have to have
And
license.
See, I grew up in the 90s where the internet became a thing. And I remember the things I did in who I chatted with. So my son, he's 13. Guess who does not have Discord? Guess who does not have Facebook? Guess who does not have Snapchat or Instagram? Because he's too sweet and innocent. He would be a victim. He is the sweetest little boy you will ever meet. I mean, I'm not naive enough to believe that he's, but, you know, because apparently some of the comments my nephew has made, but, you know.
I have to be active in the house. These people go to school board meetings and they're like, what have you been teaching my kids for 10 years? What have you been asking them to learn in school for 10 years?
That's if your kid will talk to you. My kid's always been very, very private. I'm like, how was school? It was okay. I'm like, are you going to tell me about your day? No.
Oh, but you're 13, you're reading your text messages. Listen.
Ever since kindergarten. Ever since kindergarten. He's been very about what he does in school. I don't know why. It's just, he's very bored. Yeah, partly yes, because he has ADHD. So he gets.
You have to ask specific questions.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, because I had the same. I had
Now,
two
if you
boys.
ask about gaming club, because he's in high school now, he's in junior high, so he joined the gaming club. He's the dungeon master for Dungeons and Dragons for gaming club.
He should meet my
So
younger
he's
son.
Kudos for him, no, it gives you good social skills and team building skills.
Yeah.
He's not a very social kid, and that might be my fault, because I'm a, believe it or not, I'm an introvert, but I've learned how to extrovert. So.
It's why we're all sitting here talking, we're the introverts.
Well, I'm no introvert.
But yeah,
No,
so, but
you are
it's
helpful.
the game.
Don't stop. She teaches me things the whole time we're in another meeting. She's teaching me what should be and can be. Your tax exempt, Harvard, I'd actually,
Yes.
I did my TK form for today.
Yep.
Let's see what I get. Actually, they should be using.
Yep. They should have a quick fill card that allows them to be tax exempt.
For what?
Lawrenceville. We had when it was quick fill. Now we go through the PSAB, and they have a credit card agreement with Sunoco that you can use it at a lot of different stations. So we're not stuck, like we had an Exxon card and then Exxon one. We had a quick fill card, quick fill that. So now, and then if they're in Elmira, they can still use it at, there's like, I don't know, 25 different tapes of stations that allow you to use it. So it says Sunoco on it, but it doesn't have to be a Sunoco station. Yeah, it's a credit card, but they deduct all the fuel taxes for you. And then they tell you, per gallon, this is what you paid, this is what we're taking off for federal taxes, this is what we're taking off for state taxes, and this is what you owe.
Can you shoot me off a number a month on what you think you save or that?
Oh, yeah. I don't,
It's like hundreds.
It's gotta be hundreds. Hundreds.
Well, when you're hard up for money,
It adds up fast. It does, it adds up fast. I mean, a borough, a state government of any sort is tax exempt, but you have to jump through the hoops to do it. You
you get it once it's done, it's done.
Right, and you fill out the forms every year. They wanna know your EIN number, they wanna know what you're using the fuel for, make sure you're not reselling it, which you're not. But, they wanna know that you are the end user, not a pass-through user, so.
Nice.
So if you couldn't prove that without saying not to use it?
Probably,
Okay.
because anything like that, you open yourself up to get audited if you're not paying taxes.
So boroughs have an audit, a yearly audit anyway.
Yes, they do. Yes.
He said that, like, what kind of mistakes is an audit? Can you elaborate?
I can elaborate some. It's interesting here because you have two different entities. You have the Sewer and Water Authority, and they have their own independent tax ID number.
Right.
You have the Borough, which also has an independent tax ID number. However, the authority leases the facilities to the borough to run, repair, hire, fire, and all of that. So the authority becomes a financing entity only because they have loans. So It appears that we don't have any substantiation yet, but it appears that there may be some monies on one balance sheet that are tied to an EIN number on a different balance sheet.
And this is between the borough.
The borough authority, yeah. So it's still all under the umbrella of Elkland, but the issue is the authority board still has the right to say who can spend the authority money that they actually have in CDs and investments and things like that. Who can spend that money on what? And it looks like that there's an account that's in dispute, possibly. So we just met with the bank last week, so it's all kind of coming along.
Does the authority have a meeting set?
No,
I guess I would ask, why do we have to have an authority?
you have to have the authority because they own the water and sewer. Same thing within Lawrenceville. In order to dissolve the authority, you have to get rid of all of their investments and their debt.
Well, and that's when I made the comment about, that can save you money when you refinance.
Yes, it can.
However, someone else said a 1% loan's awful hard to improve.
Yeah, but I don't know if Penvest
Right
is at
now,
1%.
Yeah, it's a Penvest loan for 1%, so,
It may not be because the loans in Lawrenceville were at 4 and 5%,
yeah.
and we saved a lot of money.
Somebody got robbed out.
Well, the Penvest loans, they go for 20, 30, 40 years. Yeah,
So you can afford to pay for the improvements.
right. So in fact, you pay longer than the improvement is worth.
Is that the style loan they took out?
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice. When you
can't
go to
afford it.
Penvest and you say, I need money for such and such, they tell you
Yep, you're gonna have it forever.
you're gonna have it forever. And if you get it for water and sewer, they can also come in and tell you you will set your rates at such and such so that you can afford to
Yep.
pay your debt service back.
So when the borough authority borrows money from the water authority, how does that transaction work?
It is a due to and a due from government entities.
Everybody votes on it.
Yes, everybody has to vote on it, and because there's no authority, it's just a department. So it's a due to and due from each department.
Trying to figure out how to explain to people how the financing works. Like we have CDs just like any other
Right.
personal or business. So like I'm trying to figure out how to articulate that.
Okay. So what's everybody think about Mr. Brack? Anybody out there know him?
Yep.
Who?
Yeah.
You do?
Wasn't he released from Gelton?
What's that?
Wasn't he released from Gelton?
That we don't know. You know?
I worked with him in the school district and he was not released from Gelton. He wasn't released.
Yeah,
Stemming from something, correct?
what's that?
It was stemming from something, it wasn't.
If you
I don't know. If you
know, let
got
us know.
information,
Yeah, if you know, let us know. We don't wanna bring someone in town that's not good.
Speak up, Brandon.
I don't know, that's why I asked.
Oh,
yeah.
just
yeah.
knew-
I
knew-
went to the sheriff's department. Who talked to Scott? Somebody talked to, you talked to Scott
Which is
Shaw.
his current boss.
All the police officers in Gilton are brand, I don't know any of them. I used to know all those guys over there. And I don't know any of them. An employer's not supposed to release anything. That's one of the problems you have in this day and age when you hire somebody. They don't have to release anything. They can tell you the dates that they worked, when they were hired, the dates they left. That's it. They can't tell you if he was ever disciplined. They can't tell you a thing. So we're kind of stuck. I called around to everybody. I thought the sheriff's department. I know some people in the sheriff's department. He worked for there for a short period. Worked for them for a short period of time. But of course they're all new too. Lewandowski's new and Brad Boyce is new, and so the sheriffs are all new too. And here's our issue. Westfield has been trying for months. They don't even have an application on file. I think probably, in my opinion, I don't know what the reason is he come down here, but I got a feeling it's because the chief's older. thinking maybe he can move up or whatever. But, cause they got a pretty young chief up in Westford. So that's my feeling. He's got a year's probation. If you can't find anything in a year, you're not doing a very good job.
When I did the security business, he worked under me for probably 2.5, 3 years, and there was no problems with that.
That's good.
Did his job, no,
And that was a 12-hour shift, and he worked nights.
Well, I mean, like you say, 1 year probation is a pretty big
it's a long time.
back pocket.
And it will
Yeah,
be one year
back when they used to be
probation.
6 weeks and
No service.
90 days, and it was tough. But if you can't figure it out in a year. So, if we wanna move on this, gonna need a motion.
If you don't, there's no other applicants, right?
None.
And we need somebody. What was your rate of pay, if you don't mind? Your advertised rate of pay?
It's by contract.
Yeah, and it's a 45,000?
I can tell you.
41.5.
Sorry,
41.5? It's
41.5.
40,000 and something.
it's a salary position?
She's gonna get, yeah, they, of course, they get it bi-weekly like everybody else, but it's just split up. And there's even a fee, does that include the fee for, overtime? They give them 3,000 extra for,
2,800.
They're exempt employees.
Yeah. It's 41.5.
is that included in that price?
It is.
And after 6
Yeah.
months.
Now, does he live near Elkland?
He lives in Gilton.
Is he gonna relocate this
No.
way?
Nope, he's
It's
not.
not in the contract.
The borough has a with the borough employees, we have a contract that says they have to live within 30 miles. The police department doesn't have that. I think probably if it was unreasonable, if you lived in Ohio or something,
I don't think they can live out of state, correct? Or I think there was.
I don't believe, I don't think it says that in their contract.
Yeah, I don't think it says anything
probation.
about.
But
Probation.
I think I'd have we'd have
Probation
to,
is a year.
we wouldn't have to hire somebody, if say they were from Binghamton. Well, that's ridiculous, we're not gonna have
And
any.
you said as his kids get older, he might
That,
want to move
Jim,
closer.
is that patrolman position?
Yes, patrol officer 41.5.
41.
Yep, and after
But here
1 year
again, why would someone
probation,
move here above
it's
a
time
time
to bump up
probation? Wait till
3,500.
probation's
Well,
over,
and
then
the other thing,
you-
he's an older guy, but he's got young kids, he's got a 4-year-old.
No,
God bless him.
Just, progression within the
And
But-
his wife is an open
patrolman.
If he's from the area, at least you're doing better than the last guy.
Right now he works in Lawrence Township, and he's gonna keep that job. He's got 3 little kids, so he's probably trying to make all the money he can make, so he's gonna stay down there, and he'll just leave here and go down there and put a few hours in. So he's according to Scott Shutt, he's done well down there, and he's coming from Gilton to Lawrence Township, so.
And that
Well-
also includes part of Nelson because Lawrence Township
Yeah.
supports Nelson and Lawrenceville
in
Borough.
Lawrenceville.
Yeah, they cover a big area, that's
It's been a police officer a long time, so I think
Yeah.
it boils down now to just accountability. You have
Like you said, a year.
a year probation and no other applicants on.
And we've talked to him when we interviewed about some things we expect. I like the idea of, Mike brought that up, going to the school and talking to the kids, and he's all for that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Public
engagement
yep.
is huge.
Yep. Well, they get so much bad press.
It's the only time I
Yeah.
get to talk to a
Pardon me.
What's
It's
that?
the only time I get to talk to a cop.
I know the press.
Drive really fast, they'll talk to you.
But with the bad press, please look at the fiasco in Tioga, or anything like that, they get such bad press when anything happens. I would think, I've been around here a long time, and you guys have all, I think if it had been anything too serious in Gilton, I'd have known about it. Cause I worked at Wellsboro Hospital with a lot of people from Gilton. So if there'd been anything going on there, in fact, Brian Tarbori, who's passed away now, he was on the council over there, so. He was a medic at the hospital. What do you think, guys?
I'll make the motion we hire him as a full-time employee with a year's probation.
Full-time patrolman. And year's probation is contractual, so.
Wow.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mike. Let's do a roll call.
John,
Yes.
Mark,
that the?
Yeah.
So you want that.
I have everything else.
I didn't
I
know
just
that.
needed this.
I gave you his, oh no, that's, you want that?
No, I have a copy.
Oh, okay.
But I can take it.
Okay, any public comments?
Oh, boy. Yes, I have public and questions. Is
Sure.
that okay? Okay,
Yeah,
so,
go ahead.
all right, so my name's Jean, and I live on Proctor Avenue in Elkland. And, on October 17th, I, had called and made a complaint about my water, the quality of my water. And would you like to see the quality of my water on October 17th when I made the call?
I've seen
Yeah.
the water.
So,
I got a baggie full of chunks if you like it.
I would like you to come get my water. Anyway, so I'm not sure, did you guys know that there had been a water problem? Would be my first question.
They were cropping up. The first one I heard about was the bum steer. They went over and checked that out. It was after they started the roads and so that's the first one I hadn't heard about
What
yours.
was the problem there, may I ask? What did they complain about? The filter. Filter that it was clogged or?
It was his personal filter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that's what happened. I mean, you get complaints here and there about. This didn't come. When was it? It was in November sometime that all hell broke loose. When those vibrators started, which I lived not far from you on Main Street. Nothing. I never got a cloudy bit of water. Never got. So how it picked houses, I don't know. But it seems like the west side got it the worst. There was piles up there of that black, that iron and we got somebody here that can talk on it. Have you seen it before like that?
What's that? Oh, you mean the water?
Water go like that?
Yes and no. I mean, it's not unusual in a system like this because part of the problem with the Elkland system is you got all these.
This is our engineer, by the way.
Okay.
You have all these dead
Yeah,
ends
that's
up there and the water, comes out off the tank, it flows into the dead end. If you don't keep that water moving, you get buildup in it. Elkland has hard water to begin, or not hard, but it has water that has high in iron and high in manganese, which is what causes a lot of these problems. And one of the ways Elkland's trying to handle it, the best economical way for Elkland to handle it is with the sequestering agent, the Aquamag that you install, that goes in the water, and that helps prevent the iron and manganese ions from coalescing, clumping together, and creating big blobs of dirty water. But it still happens in the lines. The sequestering agents try to keep it under control, but then when the state paved the street, paved Main Street, the vibration just upset the pipe so much, it just started flushing out some of the dirty water, moving it around. And then on the west end, because that end, that stuff got pushed to the end and stayed there until the crews could come through and flush it out.
Of course, it didn't hit every house on the west end
No,
either. It seemed to hit Holly Street.
It,
It hit Proctor.
Holly Street has probably 50% of them have filters. Probably 90%.
But we shouldn't have to filter our water, we should be able to drink it.
pardon?
We should
Oh,
be able to
yeah.
drink our water.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's not. I mean, we drink the same water you drink.
Yeah, it's-
Yeah.
Well, I don't drink mine now, but.
When that happened, we did everything. We got the engineering department. We got the DEP here.
So,
Yeah,
when it
little water up
happened,
there.
so you knew it was like it had some sort of water quality issue in October, right? And then the interventions didn't happen until, just, I'm trying to understand the whole thing. Because on November 26th, did you see my bathtub, you guys?
We started flushing immediately, as soon as you,
Yeah,
as soon as you complained, you
Yep.
heard the first complaint, we started
But
flushing.
it takes
immediately.
time. It takes time.
And
I mean,
that's right.
everybody's.
We did a directional flush.
After the first complaint come in, people complained to DEP. DEP come in and did a full inspection.
Right.
There's nothing wrong.
Water quality's fine.
Actually, the water quality in my house, I have a private lab I hired, is
Mhm.
not, okay. It's right here.
Did you give the borough copy of that?
Oh, no, I have them right here, but I'll be happy to give them. These are the preliminary, and when the finals come in, then I'll be even actually happy.
Are you still having issues?
It's better, Mike, thank you for coming out and flushing it. I have nothing but utmost respect for you coming out. And you know, when you were there was 5 buckets of crap that came out of our house.
Union work now?
No, but it was really disgusting down there. And the turbidity in our water is 2.5, and EPA says it has to be less than 1 for us to be able to drink it. So in November 26th, when I'm messaging Jill saying, hey, we have a big water problem, we still hadn't had from October, so 50 days later, October 17th, now we're into December, nobody had come to our house until Mike came to our house last week.
Well,
Nobody.
And for that reason, is when we got your complaint, we started flushing. When you start flushing, there's no sense of going and flushing any kind of laterals or anything until we flush the mains out. When you do directional
Just
flushing.
fill them back up again.
When you do directional flushing like we were doing, we have to start at one end of town, work our way down mains, work our way out to the fingers, and that's how it continues going, and it took that amount of time to flush them hydrants. So once we got the town flushed, water flowing clear out of our hydrants, then we started going and hitting trouble spots like your house, Holly's house, we did the same thing to hers. We flushed the main, or your guys' lateral out to prevent that from happening again.
I'm kind of offended, because it really wasn't us that caused the problem. It wasn't Josh down there who takes care of the water that causes the problem.
But it's your job to intervene, right?
Don't shrug your shoulder at me, please.
Oh, okay. But it is your job to intervene.
I'm trying to talk to you, and you just won't let anybody talk. I'm done.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Did you want something? She had something to say, I believe, in the back.
I was just questioning if the person or people that are treating the water are licensed, or is that one of the things that we rent?
Yes, he's licensed.
Yes, I am. And there's
Yep.
another licensed operator on the wall too, so there's two of them here.
And I just don't know what we were supposed to do. For everybody else that wants to listen,
There's a copy in the office, all you gotta do is fill out right, no, they'll pull it right out of my file. It's
Right,
right
but I'm saying that renting somebody's license isn't helping the people that.
I'm.
it took time for him to get his license.
It takes seat time to be able to hang your license by yourself. You have to have so many hours within
Actually,
treating the water.
Hands-on operation.
Yes, and so until I could get the seat time, my license could hang on the wall, but it's no good. The state doesn't recognize it until I have enough hours, contact hours with the water.
So we're still gonna pay Crowley?
So
We have no choice.
my license is good.
We have no
If,
choice to
if
take
there's a DEP report somewhere that even DEP said in the last inspection, because someone questioned my license, said I was licensed.
So how, Mike, will we know what is gonna happen in the future? Like, if we have problems, will there be, I'm not being disrespectful, Mr. Collins, at all. I'm just trying to understand, because for 50 days, we've lived this water.
And that's the thing is, we worked hand in hand with DEP, Brad, our engineer from day one, Josh, and PA Rural Water. They all suggested the same thing that we were already doing before we even contacted them. Immediately, Josh, when we discovered the problem, Josh told the guys, go start flushing hydrants. We got a hold of Brad to start doing directional flushing. He says that's gonna help. So we started going to the problem spots, your street, Holly Street, just flushing hydrants, getting a lot of stuff out. Brad says all you're doing is pulling, excuse me, John, all you're doing is pulling water, the dirty water that's still in the main back to these spotting spots. So he said you need to stop doing that and go and start doing directional. Great, so that's what we did. Start doing directional. When we do directional flushing, and Aaron knows this too, it pulls everything from where your water source comes from, clear down to the end of town. And when you do that, you have, like I said, you go down the main trunk and you step back and start doing fingers, pull everything in. And you just gotta keep doing that until you get to the end. Unfortunately, your house, where you were at in town, down as far as you're down on your street, was one of the last sections to get done, unfortunately. The trailer park was the last section to get done. So with that being said, we were doing it over and over and over until it's done. And if there still is a problem, we're gonna continue flushing weather permitting. We can't make ice skating rinks.
Yeah.
But again, warm weather, if we have to, we'll flush it in the tankers and the fire trucks we have to. We are on this problem from day one. Whether it looked that way or not, because like I said, you didn't see anybody down your street.
No, not even with the complaints.
And I can understand that, because again, like I said, directional, we have to start at the end of town. We start clear up by Mark's house at the border and come right down through. And if you look, Morgan Ave and Main Street, there's black. I mean, it looks like blacktop was tore up there, because that's what's coming out of it from. And again, if PennDOT or HRI, either one of them would have come and said, hey, when we drop these 2 10-ton vibrating rollers on this main street, your pipes being 5 foot in the ground are going to shake every single bit of manganese or iron or anything that's stuck to the walls of the pipes from our Aquamag is going to come loose. Each day when they're done with a section, we would have went and flushed. We never would have guessed that it would have shook that far. I sat in my house. Everyone knows where I live. I sat in my house, in my chair. My pictures are doing this. I'm like, what the hell? I look outside, 2 10-ton rollers. And they're from you away from each other, just back and forth. So it's just like they're just vibrating so hard. And with that being said, we flushed a gentleman up on Holly Street, and he said this happened one other time 15 years ago when the seismic come down through. When they first gas boom, before the gas boom even started, they come down through and they vibrated everything to see where gas was. Same deal, shook all the pipes loose. He said this is the exact same thing happened 15 years ago. I can't speak on that. I don't remember that. But that's what it stems from, is that. And
You
again,
have to understand, like, what our concern is like, we've been through a flood, right, and we've had
Right.
our road paved.
so with that being said, I know where you're going with that. It's the water. The comment was made by our house was floated away, but our water wasn't that bad. Agreed. And in all reality, that's a good thing. That means
Yes,
our system.
absolutely, somebody did something great.
No, that means our system is
Right.
sealed, so we don't get that flood water in it.
Right.
That's a huge plus.
Mhm.
So with that being said, that flooding waters and anything like that has no bearing on
That
our
has
closed,
nothing to do with our water
on our
system.
closed water system. And
Will you continue to flush, Mike? Because, I
absolutely.
mean, it's-
If there's problems, absolutely. And we're gonna and again, and I know where this is headed. She's here, you're here, they're all here. We're not Lawrenceville. I'm gonna say that right now. We are not Lawrenceville. From day one, we stepped on into this problem. We've been taking care of it.
Had them
every
come in
single
nights
day.
to flush.
And that was another thing. Well, they're wasting overtime. We're not wasting overtime. There's certain hours, and Aaron knows this also. There's certain hours you flush, water less usage. So if there's less usage, guess what? You get more out of the lines at that point and quit sucking in the houses.
But how do we communicate it better so that we don't have the experience, like?
Come to the office.
Well, we tried, but there's certain hours.
There's alerts that you can sign up for town too,
I
because
already
I
have
was
it.
alerted to
Yeah.
the issue.
Swift 911.
Because of
And if
the
you,
Elkland.
and it comes up, leave a note. If no one's here, leave a message on the answer machine. The answer machine is checked every day.
Which
If the
we
answer
do.
machine,
I have.
and if it gets ignored, then we'll address that issue too, because
Right.
that's not okay neither. And
You are always welcome to call,
Always.
text, or email me,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
It's just hard when it's a personal cell phone.
That's okay, that's.
But don't,
Quite all right.
she opened her personal cell phone for
Yeah,
a reason, because she
whatever.
knows she's not here a lot,
Right.
with things that she has gone in her life, which we're not gonna get into.
And we all had people stop at our houses. I
Yeah.
had multiple people
And
talking about it.
Joey got a hold of me,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
And I knew you were sick. It's just
It's
that
no big deal,
it's
but,
gone.
but I still.
You gotta understand my frustration, right? I mean, in no
Absolutely.
disrespect.
No,
50
absolutely.
days, you guys, of
Yeah.
pure fill.
You do realize they dropped the level of that tank to what? You can't just continue to flush and flush and flush. It drains our tank.
And another
So you
thing
gotta
I'll
let it
tell
build
you-
back up. What time you came in at what? At night?
9 to midnight.
9 to midnight.
So another thing I'm gonna tell you too is, and Josh, I know Josh don't care, so I'm gonna say this in front of everybody. When we were flushing hydrants, we have a well 17 that pumps, what, 500 gallons?
150.
Okay, 150, I was way off. And we have well 24 that pumps
375.
way off again. Double anyhow, okay? So with that being said, we had a little bit of an issue at the water plant with the breaker box. Fuses kept blowing. We have to have well 24 to flush hydrants, because it pumps double the amount. If we don't have that, well, 17 pumps. If we flush
17 will
hydrants-
maintain, but it won't build.
Actually,
That's what I was getting at.
17 will only supply you water for 1 week.
Correct.
If you have to run 17 more than 1 week, then the borough's gonna be in trouble.
And that's no flushing hydrants. So with that being said, we were trying to get through with this panel box to continue flushing hydrant. Josh goes up, fuse blows, Josh goes up. He puts a new fuse in. The panel box, obviously he didn't notice that where the fuse sets in, the housing was broke. Turns it on, fireball comes out, blows his hands, he's burned, you guys go to the emergency room. We're down 4 days, 5 days it was, I think. So with that being said, there's another 4 days to tack down before we could even start back flushing again. And once that happens, when you're flushing, now you have that down 4 days, now it's starting to start circulating again. So it's like you have to keep on top of it, and we're going to continue to keep on top of this problem. Again, like he said, we live here. My water's brown too. I'm not saying that you should drink it. I'm not saying that it's okay. I'm not even going to say it's okay, but we have to not pit against each other
Absolutely.
and try to come together as a community and say, what can we do? Instead of bitching, let's go ahead and try to help solve the problem, you know? And I'm not saying that you are, or anybody in particular in this room, or anybody on Facebook, but again, it doesn't do no good to have everybody pinned against each other when we have a problem in our community.
Right.
I got on this council to try to help this community, to try to make things better. And I think, and I don't ever toot my own horn, everybody that works with me knows that I want no credibility for anything on this council, but I say that we've done a hell of a job in 11 months. One issue that has set the town back, if you will, a year, because people just need to have patience. We are working on it. We're getting through it.
We didn't know it, but I'm just saying.
And what,
In their defense, I'm not sure they got that 1017 complaint.
Okay, so you didn't know because it wasn't related to you?
I'm
maybe.
not sure that they knew.
I know from the
We knew we had 6 complaints.
and that's the other thing. And honestly, we had less than 1% of the town that had a bad enough water
Had an
that they
issue.
couldn't shower or drink.
So in hindsight, looking at it, would it be reasonable to ask, like, if there is a water issue and you have a complaint from somebody, maybe to send Josh out and Josh, hey, can you look at my water?
We do, he does.
And I
Oh,
would. If I
So
received
somewhere the
info-
complaint got lost on
I
October
believe it
17th.
And if you don't hear something from a week, by all means, drive through that gate at the sewer plant, walk in my office and say, hey, my water's bad. I'll come look at it.
Or at least they can tell you why they didn't flush
Actually,
your lateral before they flushed everything else. And-
that's the other important thing, is
It's
that
good.
when a complaint comes in, as soon as they can get it, if these guys can come look at it, that helps us
Yeah.
determine what.
That's
the
why we
problem
called,
is.
and that's why I sent you an
Because-
email.
And I'm gonna,
about
and
that.
you said a week, I'm gonna say a day. Everybody that I
I
work
agree,
with
a
here,
day.
we know
Water
what
quality.
goes on. I know, I am usually aware of every single complaint that comes in this borough as soon as it comes in. Right, and as far as dates, Gene, I'm honest, I have no idea how the first day. But I know from the first day I was made aware, I called the meeting and said, start flushing. He said, well, it's gonna get cold. I said, I don't give
That
a
day
shit,
that you
start
got
flushing.
flushed, I flushed Holly's that morning. I had a meeting with Brad. That's the only reason I wasn't at your house. I was headed there, but I was stuck in a meeting about something else.
And I'm also gonna let you know, if you don't see every hydrant being flushed, that means nothing. Cause if you have 3 hydrants 300 feet apart, you don't need to flush all 3 hydrants. If you go to that in one, like on Woodline Ave, there's an in hydrant. If you pull from that in hydrant, you're pulling right by all those other hydrants and pulling it right out. So if when people say, well, you didn't flush this hydrant, you didn't flush that hydrant, that doesn't always mean anything. It's we have a plan with, again, we work.
Systematically.
Yeah, right, systematic. We worked with our engineer and we went off from his recommendation and DEP's recommendation on what to do, and it didn't involve flushing every single hydrant in town. It involved getting the shit out of the system.
And let's be honest, anyone has a problem, even if the gate's closed, I promise you, my cell phone's number's right on the front gate.
So if that happened though, and then I'm telling you October 17th, lost, whatever, and then I'm messaging you again with a picture like my bath water is, I can't even drink my water and I have to, I'm not, I'm just letting you know that how frustrated it is. We had to hire a private lab that says, listen, you can't drink your water because it's 2.5 turbidity.
And that's gonna be, I mean, obviously with the system being disturbed, it's gonna be high. Turbidity's gonna be super high. It's, for
So
people
should
that
we
don't
be
know,
underwater?
for people that don't know, that's just cloudy.
At that point, should we be boiling it?
Boiling
Just
won't
ask
help
it.
it, I don't think.
DEP has not put us under boil
And
water
we've-
advisory, and they have been.
And they come in full send.
And they've been
Right.
monitoring.
And so is the turbidity in Elkland, is it that high? Is it
No.
equal to mine?
No, and that's the thing is, and again, with your lateral, your piping, who knows how old that is?
What was there, 6 laterals that had to be, you had, Holly's, yours was one
We
they had
did,
to do.
we did.
And I'm not
Those
being
ones probably
confrontational,
test
I'm just trying to
horrible.
understand.
No, and exactly, and I'm trying to make people understand so this doesn't turn into what this has turned into, because to me it's ridiculous. But who knows how old your pipes are? Who knows how much bill if you've had on your pipes? When we flushed your hydrant at the end, it was clear, and then Joey texted me and he's like, "Hey, this is my water." I'm like, "It don't even make sense." Literally, we're down 3 houses from yours. We're flushing hydrant, crystal clear. I mean, Josh is like, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. So then we pumped the idea of flushing laterals, which we didn't think of initially because it's like, well, if they're pulling clean water out of the main, why wouldn't it be going in their house? And it's like, well, shit, let's try the laterals. We went down, flushed it out, and Joey, as he's been in contact with me ever since, he says it's getting clear every day. Then the problem that we had,
It's improved.
right, so clearer every day.
Yes, it has improved, that's correct.
So again, it's gonna take time. I just don't know what to do. It's not that we're not addressing the issue. It's not that we're like, screw the Orchowskis. We want them to drink clean water.
I know, right? We can't even bathe in it.
It's not that, but I don't have any other answers besides I'm working with the engineer, I'm working with DEP. Josh submits tests daily, weekly, monthly, and again, Aaron knows all this. They all get
It
submitted.
just is kind of, Mike, concerned, like my water sample must be different than your water sample, so
Would
how
be.
can it be that different?
Your lateral was
So I'll
way
tell you-
dirtier. For some reason, 6 laterals or 7 laterals in town picked up a lot. Whether you ran water during when it was coming down, I don't know. You know why?
There
Certain-
could be any number of
yeah.
them,
But
but location has a lot to do with
Yeah.
it.
So listen
The
to
way
this.
the unit direction.
Brandon and Samantha said they had bad water. Clear, or not clear. Clayton McLean lives right next door.
Cross the street.
crystal clear.
His
If you guys can
tie-in-
figure it out, let us know.
Clayton's tie-in,
And Christie's down the road though, from Brandon and Sam's, it's terrible.
If you can
and
figure it out,
Clayton's
let us know.
tie-in is 5 feet past.
That's
mean,
not
I-
my job though, right?
That's not, well, we're out of options.
Right.
I think
Start,
Brad
you
wants
can
to
start,
say something.
you can start flushing your
Can I
laterals.
interject
It's
in
not
that
a logical
Has
problem.
anyone?
Right?
It's
Still see
just-
it.
But it sounds like it's a
Both
borough
places.
problem to
Can
figure
you
out,
prove
right?
that? That's what they're trying to do, and it's just
It
unfortunate.
just-
It takes time.
But no,
Just,
I don't-
it's the only thing that makes
But when
sense.
you say borough
Well,
problem,
the
Because it is,
Hard-
it's the stuff that we've been bulking up. I mean,
I don't know what else
that's
to do
the
with this one, besides
manganese
start
and
flushing
the
laterals.
iron. It's something shook up loose.
Yeah, this isn't what I'm interested in. I'm more interested in.
and if
how
you're
you got
flushing
here.
laterals,
Like,
you know,
And it's
technically, the way
certainly-
the code reads,
It happened at
we
the
don't
same
have to,
time
but
they ran
we're
those
trying to,
big vibrators.
we're trying to get
So a
everybody, if
crafty
anybody has a problem, they
coincidence.
need to call and ask. And we'll come.
Well,
That's what I
now the
did.
water's clearing
I
up, it's
did.
all,
I
it's
did.
actually, the water's gonna be a lot nicer
Even if
because
it's
all
still
that
not
stuff's
good
gonna be
now. I
gone.
told Joe, I said, let me know.
And I promise you, myself.
Our water's
Yeah,
fast,
those
we had the best
Well,
water, I've never
as
bought
soon as
bottled
I
water.
get
in
something
this town.
like that, oh my god.
Neither
I
am
always
I. I
done.
always
You know,
drink
and I
water
let
because I'm
Rick
just
know, and I
like,
let Rick know.
it's a
Just
small
so
town.
many
It's not a
for
city.
50
I'm
to
not
get
worried
out.
about it.
Like we went through humidifiers,
Same
like
thing,
totally
too.
destroyed it.
Well,
So
now,
wait
and
50
with
days
that
to
And
fix
I
the
asked
second
that
time.
I had
because if
humidifiers,
PennDOT's
my
not
nose bleeds
communicating
when it
with
gets
you
dry
guys
in
about the
wintertime, every
equipment that
single
they're
time.
coming
I've
in,
had humidifiers for
based
10,
based on
15
the
years,
infrastructure
and
that
those
you
hot
have in
humidifiers
place,
with
and we have a
aluminum,
communication
I don't
problem
care if
that
you put
doesn't even
anything to
count
distill
what
water
you
in
got.
there,
Have you ever dealt with
if you put a
PennDOT?
bottle of,
No, I'm not excited
They have a
about it, but
communication
parents
problem
really
about
are.
The one in
everything.
October.
thing.
How many
Like,
people have
hey,
The one I
complained?
sent you looks like ginger
I'm
ale.
hearing 6 or
Six.
7.
Are they
Six.
not educated on the water
That's
system in
ridiculous.
these towns? Because
And I'm not even sure I
you
got
guys
that
aren't the only ones.
I don't know that you do, and
PennDOT.
see, I'm not,
Problem.
anything
But see, it
that I
wasn't a
have
huge, it really wasn't a
I
major
have
problem.
received, I have parsed
There was only
out.
6
That's
houses
all
that
I can
complained.
speak on.
And there was,
And
their
so how are we
laterals
gonna
were
know, like,
somehow
this
got
type
full,
of
you know,
manganese,
that's,
whatever
No,
it
I
is,
know.
So they had to
iron
individually
manganese
be
problem
flushed
salt-
and-
Salt, like, are you, do you
But it
salt?
could have been there
but
for
they were
years.
dirty, I mean,
Told me that you put this
Mike and I were there
halogen
when they
stuff
were flushing the hydrants the first day, they were,
And
there was piles of stuff,
There's a-
piles
Has
of
anybody
iron.
asked the Army Corps of Engineers about the source, about this iron and manganese? It's such a problem.
It's just from our
Imagine
water.
how long it
It's in,
took.
That's what it's
well,
from.
it's in the well
Yeah.
water.
It's in our water, and it,
Yep.
it
And then
pump,
coming back
they
out
put the
because
stuff in to
we
pump
can't
it
drink
up.
water.
it's
and-
not
They're
any
using
worse or any,
Aquamag,
it's not
right?
any worse than it's
Aquamag.
been for the last 10 years.
But you're
Yeah.
using it.
Nothing to do with.
Right.
You're using it.
Yeah.
It's just, it's just one of the natural.
They've been using it right along, but that shook it so hard, it shook it
It's
loose.
just so you can't see that crack that you're bothered by at those 6 or 7 laterals.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Aquamat.
Yep.
Right, yeah. Yeah, to try to keep it from coagulating.
So you don't have one?
Oh, I do, I live on that.
Like I said, I'm
Okay,
not.
well, I'm not yet. So you're familiar with the iron and stuff that built
No,
in?
Yeah, it's essentially, it's kind of like a softener, not really, but it tries to keep it from coagulating.
I learned more about these systems.
Yes, they can.
when I talked to them.
Yeah.
I need
Well,
to
the new technology is what really surprises me, because of the technology that we have, but we've got archaic systems
Yes.
that have to be updated.
I just
But
need.
unfortunately, some of the systems to try
We
and
took it, right?
is it financially?
It's not financially sound.
Lawrenceville is 277 people,
I'll come pull a
Yeah.
sample,
you know.
I'll send it to the lab.
Turbidity. I want to understand turbidity. It's not the chunky junk that's
It's
in the
cloud,
ground.
it's just cloud. Turbidity means
Like,
cloud.
what's going on
And
down
they'll
there?
tell me.
Thank you guys
I'll
very
do
much for
everything,
entertaining.
like I'll do.
Oh, yeah, entertain her.
And my question.
Lawrenceville meets her treats her very badly.
Yes, just.
No, I didn't know she was coming, that just happened.
It'll be the same day.
Yeah.
I got
So what
results
paper
come
do you
back
write
and I'll
for?
show you what's in
I
my
She doesn't.
I'm an
Perfect.
independent media.
Yeah, we'd like.
It's,
what is
there's
the
cards
iron-
over there on the
what is
chair.
the iron manganese?
Oh, okay, I looked at the card going, what's this about?
Now you know.
Okay, it's you.
It's her.
Okay, is that why the phone's there?
I mean, it's got.
If it's an anti-competitive,
It doesn't have a.
EPA says I can't, I have to.
I really
drink anymore.
You're a minority.
Oh, I think she did tell me that.
Well, I'm also sitting down and back this way, so hopefully they can picture me.
You're not, I pretty.
Okay.
Okay, got a motion on the floor?
My dad, yeah.
To do what? Are we good? Any more questions?
Are we flushing still? Let me ask that question.
Flushing is done at the moment.
See, we have to, at some point you have to stop flushing, let it settle, and let the Aquamag start sucking it back to the pipes too.
I'm gonna start to suggest with the weather that's coming, you don't wanna flush.
Yeah, so I got, there's a storm coming tomorrow, and now they're calling for another foot next week. I don't wanna skate and race all over town.
As soon as we're back in the 40s, I will reflush everything again. Even high 30s, I'll reflush during the day. If there's issues, seriously, call me. I don't care. you can post my number to the website. I don't care, I
Mine's
really
on
don't.
there,
And
and
maybe that's what needs to be done, so that like when there's an issue, that
Sounds like a
somebody
plan.
comes out, yeah, right, Mark, it does.
I mean, I really don't care. If you have an issue, drive to the sewer plant and say, hey, my water's nasty. I promise I'll come.
Yeah, it's not a big deal because there's only about 6 people that even have any close to that issue.
And if other people have issues and they're just not saying nothing, there's
His
nothing I
dad,
can do
who's
about
dying,
that.
has orange ice cubes, right, so.
Yeah, and
Well, see,
well,
now,
and my girlfriend lives next door, and she
that
has
sucks,
just-
but we never got a phone call from
I
Mr.
know.
Wachowski himself. So
Yeah.
how do we know?
Yeah.
I wanna say
Probably
this,
not in the
I wanna say
mentality
this
or in
because
mind, right?
we don't monitor Facebook. I want everybody to make that very clear. We do not monitor Facebook.
Yeah, and it did.
So if there's a complaint, it needs to come to this office. If it can't
Which
come
it
to the
did.
office, it needs to go to him, me, a borough worker, somebody. Facebook does not have anything to do with this council.
Right, and
Just
which
so
it
everybody's
did,
aware.
I followed the chain, right, call.
Right, and I'm not saying you
email.
did, but,
Right,
but the
okay.
people that you bring up now,
Right, they should call.
we have no idea.
Right.
I don't know that
And
his
if he
dad
has a
or,
problem,
they have to call.
I mean,
We can't fix a problem we don't know is there.
I'm next door every day. I mean, I'm with Shannon, so.
Yep.
Okay, I just have one quick
Okay.
question before we end, not related to water. Is anything going to be done with the trailers that were pulled in that have no windows,
your baby.
doors?
You talking to Bender Lane?
Bender Lane.
There's absolutely nothing we can do about it.
Who gave the permit to bring them in?
There's no, you don't need a permit.
He
It's a
don't,
trailer
he's a
park.
trailer park, so we don't
You
need
don't need a
nothing.
permit to bring a trailer into the borough?
No.
Only in a trailer park.
Yes, trailer park.
And
Somebody
since that's
else can-
considered a trailer park, he can
Thank
do
you
whatever he wants.
so much.
But like, you couldn't pull a trailer out of your property, it's not allowed.
It's been pre-authorized
Yes.
many moons ago.
And there's nothing that the
No,
borough
ma'am.
is
Did
interested
they-
in doing about that?
They must have the, only to the number of hookups.
The health department probably could.
Yeah.
Well,
They have a certain number of hookups.
Yeah, if you
Gotcha.
get hold of somebody else, we personally can't do nothing.
The health
I got the
department.
water
You can
shut
bring in
off.
really, you can bring in a thing, oh, it's the health department.
I'll take it.
There's gonna be no more water up there until there's some bills and stuff to be paid, so there will be no more hookups. That's all I can do.
and I do know that he did tear one trailer down a month ago, and supposedly one of them trailers was going in that slot. Nothing's moved yet.
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, people can't have chickens in the borough because of rats, but then you can have that because
I
there's no
agree.
rats?
Six or seven.
I don't know.
No, and as far as garbage up there, if there's garbage, that could be something done with that. But
Yeah, it's been
chickens
too
do bring
long.
rats.
Yeah.
Garbage bring rats.
It's been too long.
Didn't he just fire his manager or something?
Yeah, Donnie got fired.
Because code enforcement, do
Is that
anything with
Reed?
it?
The code
That
enforcement
Reed
was
that
here
got
2
fired?
times,
Yeah.
and then,
Mike,
With
can
what?
code enforcement
With
do
what?
anything
Donnie?
with the trash?
He
and-
has
don't
to
know.
have a written
I was
complaint.
gonna say, did anybody file a complaint? Again, we can't do nothing until we have complaints.
That's good.
she's not here.
Yeah, but
You
you
don't
Well, it
know.
has to be a written
No, it
complaint
has
for
to
her
be.
to comply, so you can email me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she
That
has to
counts
have
as
it
a
in
written
writing.
complaint.
Okay, I'll just go to the health department first.
Yeah. But anything,
Please.
Well, we're willing to help, ma'am. All you gotta do is file a complaint so we
I've
know.
already brought it up like 10 times.
Ma'am,
You
bring
know
it
she's
up.
here.
You
it
have
has
that.
to be, it has to be in black and white.
I've
We
done
have,
that.
we have things that we
I've done
follow.
that, I've called, I've done
thought that was
You
emails.
filed one with the,
I did, I received no response, she was here
What's
and
your
called
name?
me, said we'd pay for her internet service, and then I haven't seen her since then.
well, give Joe your name and I'll see why that complaint wasn't taken care of. I have no problem doing that.
And, I mean, I can ask her later, but if she issued Bender a letter, he's got, what, 30
Does
days?
she
And
submit
then-
a report to you? Is
Yeah,
there-
there is a report in there.
Yeah, but if she submitted, there are steps that she has to take.
Again, some things take time.
She has to go to
Are the
Bender.
minutes ever posted online so people can view
The minutes of
them?
this?
Meeting minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meeting minutes
Well,
are on the borough webpage, www.elklandborough.com, and then under government, the government tab, there's minutes.
I mean, there's
And that
everything she
includes
does.
her
There's a whole
report?
list
It will
of,
not include her report.
no.
No, it's just the minutes of what went on in the meeting. If you want to see her report, all you have to do is let me know, and I can email it to you.
Okay.
So yes, just so everybody knows, right to knows are a legal process that I have to follow, but you don't have to pay for it if you ask me to email it to you, or if you just wanna come in and take a picture. The only way that I can charge you is if you want a paper copy.
How
So-
much are your paper copies?
25 cents, because that's what the state allows. But I don't need an official form or anything like that for something as simple as the zoning officer's reports. Just shoot me an email, elklandborough.com, or go to the webpage again. There's comment forms, those come directly to me. Okay? Yes.
Well, hopefully it doesn't get lost.
I have a question
If it
concerning
comes to
laterals.
me, I will
There's
handle it
too much
myself.
noise, but
I will pass it out.
I know Bender is pinned down in not Middlebury,
Blossburg?
no, 328 out the end with Millerton. With DEP's got him right pinned to the ground.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
No, he's- has some-
if someone could drain their own lateral somehow, how would that be?
Okay, so I don't know how the code reads, but I don't know. You would have to have a way to drain it, a valve on the inside of the meter. When we do it, we take the meter off and drain it from the street in. That way you don't have to meter the water, it doesn't
So-
go through your meter, you don't get charged for it.
So let's move it back to me. If I wanna do it, I would have to meter the water that I'm now gonna maybe flush out into my side yard. I'm not gonna ice up the road. I'm hopefully happy because I'm flushing my own system. And is there any compensation for that water that was metered that I've now run in my yard?
Couldn't they do
Because
like they do with
I'm one of
holes?
those 6 or 7 people.
I suggest that you just call the borough and let us do it, so we can look it before the
Yeah.
meter and flush it out.
But that way we don't fill your screens and your
Because you
meters.
also,
full.
yes.
Okay,
if there's anything
then
you
the
pull
the other question I would have is, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna run it in the road.
No, we
No,
run
no,
it in the yard.
We run it in the yard, we run it anywhere.
Yeah, if it's in your house, they'll run a hose out in your
We
yard.
ran Joey and Jean's right in the yard.
I watched Joey and Jean's be flushed into the street with a little
When I was
garden.
there, I'm telling you, we ran it
No,
against
is it,
the
it
tree.
wasn't you, you weren't there. It was
Okay.
a little garden hose came out, and it stayed
And
into
if
the,
If it's not, the weather permitting, yes, we'll put it in the street so
it,
within a storm
it
drain.
possibly was warm enough that it
And that
could
could be.
have frozen,
Yes.
but it didn't. But I'm just thinking, if, you know, these 6 or 7 people are still upset, could they just run that hose out and put it in their yard? And you're telling me, yes, it can be done.
Yeah.
And then that way, we're not icing the road, but we're also not stopping the flushing.
The only thing I can tell you is you can't dump it directly in a creek. It has to have contact time with the ground for the chlorine to dissipate out of the water. So
And
as
I
long
don't-
as it hits the ground, goes into a storm drain, hits grass, hits dirt, hits anything, so the chlorine has time to dissipate before it hits a water source, we're good.
Okay,
And they're welcome to do that, but just remember that they're gonna be going through the meter and through the rest of their plumbing to get.
yeah, so
And
the
that could
suggestion
mess
would be
things
have
up.
you guys do it, but
We
it,
have a fitting that hooks onto meter brass, so we can just take one side of your meter off, screw on that thing, flush the lateral, not touch your screen, not touch anything inside, you don't go through your meter, you don't get charged, and we'll just come and do it if your water's dirty.
And
Call it,
if they do it, the string could get clogged and cause it clogging their system.
It causes other problems, yeah.
yes.
This is
So
why
that's-
So
it's-
that's why it's
that's
hard for
us
you guys to do
Yeah,
it. as
then we're out
opposed to-
changing meters, and after so many meters, we have to charge you for the meter, and it just call, we'll come flush it, and be done with it.
Okay.
It's not a big deal. We can do
We still got
30, 40 a day if we have that money, it doesn't matter.
I don't think we got a motion.
Are we done with the comment section, finally?
I have to complain.
Hey, I'm just asking.
Nobody's-
Motion to adjourn.
Work
Most
for
of
John.
them are, so I don't gotta wake kids up, I'm good to go.
I'll second.
Second by Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
he said no
Carried.
school, he doesn't have to wait the kids up. He can
Any
just-
problem, just let us know.
Should I
If
not
somebody, Joey's got my number.
He's got your number.
Would you mind giving?
I already gave it. I got it. They took it.
I'll take a copy for you.
Was the only thing high?
Is it good?
Was it just turbidity?
The others are coming.
Oh, I know.
You know,
Like you said, 3 weeks.
Mike told me the guy next to you was worse.
She said it was a little low, the,
I know, but
yes, where's your?
we had to work it in.
Yes.
Like I said, we
Absolutely.
paid overtime for that. Well, and you gotta watch the green and the tower.
Well, then you lose a tower, and then there's a fire, then what the hell do you do?
Yeah.
Well, we actually, Joe called and had to respond with extra tankers during that.
So the only option you
And,
have
and they
in
don't
testing is
understand
taste,
that
no
there's
matter where you go.
75 things that have to happen
Taste
just so
zones,
that one person gets their,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Mike,
And I told Fairway.
Jill really are on top of
When they
it.
pulled in and said, well, we sold, I'm like, better not have been to pay.
Try.
I'm like, yeah, pay some's everything.
I didn't get out and do any manual work. That's above my pay grade.
Guaranteed they don't change anything.
It is not, I can't break a fingernail, you know? Oh.
Well, public section knows you need to shut it off.
But I know the vibration they're talking about was.
Where's she?
Something
It,
not
it tickled. That's how intense they were.
Public section's over, you can walk.
But it's going through the government.
Everything's within tolerance.
And
That's the only thing that's.
And it's gonna be higher.
The two companies.
Yeah.
When the other part comes back, which it should be back in the next 2 days with the other stuff, the total, whatever,
Yep.
I'll send it over.
Yeah, you can, if you want, you can scan it and just email it.
Yeah, she said it'd be 2 more days and then she'd
That's
have
fine.
the
The whole Facebook goes
iron
on, but I'll check it out.
Mandy.
yes, all
Not,
that stuff
yeah,
and the
not
calories,
magnesium,
Yeah,
manganese.
whatever.
I wouldn't
Better video.
hold her to the 2 days at pace, I promise you. I wouldn't hold her to.
Yes.
YouTube is
Becky and, do you want me to give you a copy?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
They're
absolutely.
really good though, they explain a lot, and it really does show that
And then when
there's
the other
something
ones
wrong.
come back,
Yeah,
Thank
I
you
know.
for
Do
explaining
you want-
to people how to
I will, do you want her address?
Mike Jones,
You don't
No problem with that, thank you.
Okay, alright, you just want me to scan it now, or you want the actual paper
Go
copy?
ahead, scan it.
Okay, alright, I'll do that.
Yeah, just keep a copy
You're gonna have
in,
this job soon, you know that?
my folder. And I'll pull a water sample from Bruce tomorrow and I'll send it to my lab so I get the results.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I'll compare now to then.
If I become active news in Elkland, you guys wanna send me your water notices too? Let me know when you have enough water notice. I will also-
In the Proctor,
I can put you on our SIP 911.
three houses up from the end,
What do you got?
on the right hand side.
Anything to help the flow of information.
I need your full name.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a dead end.
Diane's doing that.
She's the only one go. So,
I know you didn't want
she
to.
down there.
Angie.
No, it's Angelina.
Back up. Probably
Okay.
4 or 5.
I would cut every finger off again before I
Yeah,
dealt with that
I
again.
Oh.
I promise you.
So that's
I promise.
Oh.
They'll cut them 2 fingertips
Okay.
off
This is
with
the
a
cell
cakewalk
phone.
compared to
Okay.
the
Rubbing
last.
on them,
Okay, because what
I've done
I
it many
do
times.
is I.
makes me hurt just to do it.
Hold on.
I
Ma'am,
can
are you still
add-
recording everything
Yes,
here?
I am.
Can you shut that off, please? Public session is over.
Yeah. No problem.
Audio
Although
and video,
This
please.
is a public space, technically you have to ask me in order to.
And I am
But
asking
you
you
can't
now, please
require
shut
me.
them down.
I am going to shut it off.
Thank you.
But